You're making 7 critical engine mistakes every single day that are silently destroying your motor and costing you thousands in premature failures. And the worst part is, these mistakes seem completely harmless because nobody ever taught you proper engine operation. I'm about to expose the exact habits that mechanics see causing catastrophic engine damage before 100,000 miles. And most drivers commit at least 5 of these mistakes daily without realizing they're slowly killing their engine. After 15 years of diagnosing premature engine failures, I know exactly which daily habits are destroying engines and how to stop them immediately. Hit that subscribe button on Car Care Xpert and turn on notifications, because I expose destructive habits like this every week that save you from expensive engine repairs. Now let's get into these mistakes. Number 4 is so common that 98% of drivers do it every single time they drive without knowing the catastrophic damage it causes. Mistake 1. Cold start aggressive driving. Starting your engine and immediately driving aggressively before reaching operating temperature is causing catastrophic wear to pistons, rings, bearings, and cylinder walls. Cold oil is thick and flows slowly, meaning critical engine components aren't receiving adequate lubrication during the first few minutes of operation. Cold metal also has tighter tolerances, creating increased friction between moving parts. The majority of engine wear, estimates suggest 75%, happens during cold starts and the first 5 minutes of driving. When you start your car and immediately accelerate hard onto the highway, you're forcing your engine to operate under high loads with inadequate lubrication and tight clearances, creating metal-to-metal contact that scores cylinder walls and damages bearings. I've torn down engines with catastrophic failures at 80,000 miles, and the damage patterns consistently show excessive cold start wear from aggressive driving before warm-up. Let your engine idle for 30 to 60 seconds after starting. Then drive gently for the first 5 minutes or until the temperature gauge reaches normal operating range. This simple habit will add 50,000 miles or more to your engine's lifespan. Mistake 2. Ignoring low oil pressure warnings. Continuing to drive when your oil pressure warning light illuminates is guaranteed to destroy your engine within minutes through oil starvation that causes catastrophic bearing and crankshaft damage. The oil pressure light means your engine isn't receiving adequate lubrication, and every second you continue running creates metal-to-metal contact that generates extreme heat and welding. I've seen engines with spun bearings, scored crankshafts, and seized pistons because drivers ignored the oil pressure warning and drove just a few more miles to get home. The damage from running with low oil pressure is immediate and catastrophic. Bearings can fail within 60 seconds of oil starvation. If your oil pressure light comes on, stop immediately, shut off the engine, and have the vehicle towed. Never attempt to drive even short distances with an oil pressure warning, because the repair cost goes from a few $100s for the underlying problem to $5,000 or more for complete engine replacement. Mistake 3. Lugging the engine at low RPM. Driving in too high a gear at too low an RPM, called lugging, forces your engine to operate under high load with inadequate rotational speed, causing piston ring flutter, incomplete combustion, and carbon buildup that destroys engines. When you're cruising at 1200 RPM in 5th gear on a slight incline and press the accelerator to maintain speed, you're forcing your engine to generate power at an RPM range where it's inefficient and mechanically stressed. The low engine speed means piston velocity is slow, which allows combustion pressure to push past piston rings instead of being contained in the combustion chamber. This ring flutter allows combustion gases and carbon deposits to contaminate your oil and score cylinder walls. Lugging also causes incomplete combustion because the engine can't generate adequate turbulence at low RPM, leading to carbon deposits on pistons, valves, and combustion chambers. I've seen engines with severe carbon buildup, stuck piston rings, and damaged cylinder walls purely from chronic lugging. Downshift when you need power. Keep your engine above 2000 RPM under load, and don't be afraid to downshift for hills or acceleration. Mistake 4. Short trip driving without occasional highway runs. Making only short trips under 5 miles without ever taking highway drives prevents your engine from reaching full operating temperature and burning off moisture and contaminants that accumulate in your oil and exhaust system. Short trips never allow your engine oil to get hot enough to evaporate moisture that accumulates from combustion byproducts, leading to sludge formation that clogs oil passages and destroys engines. The catalytic converter and exhaust system also never reach temperatures needed to burn off condensation, causing internal rust and premature exhaust failure. I've drained oil from vehicles driven only short distances and found it contaminated with water emulsion that looks like chocolate milk. This moisture-contaminated oil provides terrible lubrication and accelerates bearing wear. Once per week, take a highway drive for at least 20 to 30 minutes to bring your engine to full operating temperature and burn off accumulated moisture and contaminants. This allows your oil to reach the temperature where moisture evaporates, your catalytic converter to regenerate fully, and your engine to operate in its designed thermal range. Mistake 5. Ignoring oil change intervals. Extending oil change intervals beyond manufacturer recommendations is destroying your engine through sludge buildup, bearing wear, and complete lubrication failure. Modern synthetic oils last longer than conventional oils, but they don't last forever, and degraded oil stops protecting your engine from wear. Oil breaks down from heat, contamination from combustion byproducts, and shearing forces. And once the additives deplete and the base stock oxidizes, the oil becomes corrosive rather than protective. I've seen engines with complete oil passage blockages from sludge, seized variable valve timing systems, and spun bearings, all from owners who thought extending oil changes saved money. The money you save by delaying oil changes is nothing compared to the thousands you'll spend on engine repairs when lubrication fails. Follow your manufacturer's recommended oil change intervals religiously, typically 7,500 to 10,000 miles for synthetic oil in normal driving, or 5,000 miles for severe duty cycles including towing or extreme temperatures. The $100 you spend on oil changes is the cheapest insurance against catastrophic engine failure. Mistake 6. Revving cold engines. Revving your engine immediately after cold start before oil pressure builds and components are lubricated is causing bearing damage, accelerated valve train wear, and potential rod bearing failure. Cold thick oil takes several seconds to reach the top of your engine and lubricate valve train components. And aggressive revving before adequate lubrication creates metal-on-metal contact that damages rocker arms, camshafts, and valve stems. The high forces generated by aggressive throttle application before proper lubrication also stress rod bearings and main bearings that aren't fully protected yet. I've seen catastrophic valve train failures and spun rod bearings on engines that were regularly revved aggressively within seconds of cold starting. After starting your engine, let it idle for at least 30 seconds before any throttle application beyond gentle acceleration, and avoid revving above 3,000 RPM until the engine reaches normal operating temperature. This discipline prevents the valve train and bearing damage that shortens engine life. Mistake 7. Running low on coolant. Driving with low coolant levels or ignoring temperature gauge warnings is destroying your engine through overheating that warps cylinder heads, blows head gaskets, and cracks engine blocks. Your cooling system is designed to maintain precise operating temperatures, and low coolant means inadequate heat transfer that allows localized hot spots to develop. These hot spots can warp aluminum cylinder heads, causing them to lose their seal against the engine block and blow the head gasket. I've seen engines overheat to the point where cylinder heads warped so severely they required machining or replacement. And in extreme cases, the engine block cracked from thermal stress. Coolant loss indicates a leak somewhere in the system, and continuing to drive while adding coolant doesn't fix the underlying problem. If you're regularly adding coolant, have the leak diagnosed and repaired immediately before overheating causes catastrophic damage. Check your coolant level monthly and watch your temperature gauge while driving. If it starts climbing above normal, pull over immediately and shut off the engine. After 15 years of diagnosing premature engine failures and tracking what actually destroys motors before their time, I can tell you with absolute certainty that these 7 daily mistakes are responsible for the majority of catastrophic engine failures I see on vehicles under 150,000 miles. The good news is every single one of these mistakes is completely avoidable through simple habit changes that cost you nothing but attention and discipline. Warm up your engine properly, stop immediately for oil pressure warnings, avoid lugging at low RPM, take occasional highway drives, maintain oil change intervals, don't rev cold engines, and keep your coolant system maintained. If this video just saved you from thousands in premature engine repairs, smash that like button and share it with everyone who drives. Drop a comment telling me which mistake you're guilty of, because recognizing bad habits is the first step to protecting your engine from preventable damage.